Salesforce Administrator and Developer Interview Questions. 1. What is app in Salesforce? An app is a group of tabs that work as a unit to provide functionality. Users can switch between apps using the Force.com app drop-down menu at the top right corner of every page. You can customize existing apps to match the way you work, or build new apps by grouping standard and custom tabs. 2. What is object in Salesforce? Objects are database tables that allow you to store data specific to your organization in Salesforce.com. You can use custom objects to extend Salesforce.com functionality or to build new application functionality. Once you have created a custom object, you can create a custom tab, custom related lists, reports, and dashboards for users to interact with the custom object data. You can also access custom object data through the Force.com API. 3. How many relationships included in SFDC and what are they? In Salesforce, there are several types of relationships, but the most common ones include Lookup relationship. This is a basic association between two objects where one object references another. For example, a contact can have a lookup relationship to an account. Master detail relationship. This type creates a strong connection between objects, where one is the master, parent, and the other is the detail, child. An example is the relationship between opportunities and opportunity line items. Self-relationship. This is when an object is related to itself, often used for hierarchies or organizational structures. Hierarchical relationship. Objects like user and account can have hierarchical relationships to represent ownership or management structures. Many-to-many relationship. While not native to Salesforce, you can simulate many-to-many relationships using a Junction object. 4. What is a lookup relationship? A lookup relationship in Salesforce is a way to connect two objects. It's like a link between them, where one object has a field that points to another object. This helps in organizing and associating data in a flexible manner. It's one way, meaning you can see information from the linked object in one direction. Up to 25 allowed for object. Parent is not a required field. No impact on a security and access. No impact on deletion. Can be multiple layers deep. Lookup field is not required. 5. What is master detail relationship? Master detail relationship is the parent-child relationship, in which master represents parent and detail represents child. If parent is deleted, then child also gets deleted. Roll-up summary fields can only be created on master records, which will calculate the sum, AVG, min of the child records. Up to 2 allowed to object. Parent field on child is required. Access to parent determines access to children. Deleting parent automatically deletes child. A child of one master detail relationship cannot be the parent of another. Lookup field on page layout is required. 6. How can I create many-to-many relationship? Lookup and master detail relationships are one-to-many relationships. We can create many-to-many relationship by using Junction object. Junction object is a custom object with two master detail relationships. 7. A custom object contains some records. Now my requirement is to create field in this object with master detail relationship. Can we create master detail relationship in this case? No, directly we cannot create master details relationship if custom object contains existing records. Following are the steps to create master detail relationship when records are available in custom object. 1. First create field with lookup relationship. 2. And then associate look field with parent record for every record. 3. Next change the data type of the field from lookup to master detail. 8. List examples of custom field types. Text, pick list, multi-select, date, email, date, time, date, currency, checkbox, number, %. Phone, URL, text area, geolocation, lookup relationship, master detail relationship, etc. 9. What is tab in Salesforce? Tab is a user interface component user creates to display custom object data. There are 3 types of tabs: custom tabs, Visualforce tabs, web tabs. 10. Does user can insert their own custom logo, while creating their own custom applications? Yes, user can upload their custom logo in documents and then they choose that logo for organization. 11. List things that can be customized on page layouts. We can customize different things on page layout like fields, buttons, custom links and related lists. We can also create sections. 12. What is a self-relationship? Self-relationship is a lookup relationship to the same object. Suppose let's take an object, merchandise. Here we can create relationship in between the account-to-account object. That is called self-relationship. 13. What are the main things need to consider in the master detail relationship? Record level access is determined by the parent, mandatory on child for reference of parent, cascade delete. If you delete the parent, it can cascade delete the child. 14. What is difference between trigger and workflow? Workflow is automated process that fired an action based on evaluation criteria and rule criteria. We can access a workflow across the object. We cannot perform DML operation on workflow. We cannot query from database. Trigger. Trigger is a piece of code that executes before or after a record is inserted or updated. We can access the trigger across the object and related to that objects. We can use 20 DML operations in one trigger. We can use 20 SOQLs from database in one trigger. 15. What is wrapper class? A wrapper class is a class whose instances are collection of other objects. It is used to display different objects on a Visualforce page in same table. 16. What is difference between SOQL and SOSL? SOQL, Salesforce Object Query Language. Using SOQL we can search only on one object at a time. We can query on all fields of any data type. We can use SOQL in triggers and classes. We can perform DML operation on query results. SOSL, Salesforce Object Search Language. Using SOSL we can search on many objects at a time. We can query only on fields whose data type is text, phone and email. We can use in classes but not in triggers. We cannot perform DML operation on search result. 17. What is difference insert and database? Insert. Using insert method we can insert the records, but if any error occurs in any record system we'll throw an error insertion fail and none of the records are inserted. If we want to execute partially successive bulk insert operation we will use database insert. 18. What is static resources? Using static resources we can upload images, zip files, jar files, JavaScript and CSS files that can be referred in a Visualforce page. The maximum size of static resources for an organization is 250 MB. 19. How to call JavaScript using static resource in Visualforce page. Add JavaScript file in static resource. File name and add file from local desktop and save. We can use that file as follows in Visualforce page. 20. What is sharing rule? If we want to give the access to other users we use sharing rules. 21. How many ways we can share a record? Role hierarchy. If we add a user to a role, the user is above in the role hierarchy will have read access. Click on Setup to then click on Manage Users to then click on Roles to click on Setup Roles to click on Add Role to provide name and save. OWD is defines the baseline setting for the organization. Defines the level of access to the user can see the other user's record. OWD is can be private, public read only, public read and write. Set up to security controls to sharing settings to click on Edit. Manual sharing. Manual sharing is sharing a single record to single user or group of users. We can see this button detail page of the record, and this is visible only when OWD is setting is private. Criteria-based sharing rules. If we want to share records based on condition like share records to group of users whose criteria are country is India. Set up to security controls to sharing settings to select the object and provide name and conditions and save. Aapex sharing. Share object is available for every object. For account object, share object is account share. If we want to share the records using Aapex, we have to create a record to the share object. 22. What are the actions in workflow? 1. Email alert. 2. Task. 3. Field update. 4. Outbound message. 23. How many ways we can made field is required? 1. While creation of field. 2. Validation rules. 3. Page layout level. 23. How many ways we can made field is required? 1. While creation of field. 2. Validation rules. 3. Page layout level. 26. How many controllers can be used in a Visualforce page? Salesforce come under SaaS, so we can use one controller and as many extension controllers. 27. What is difference between action support and action function? Action function. Invoke the controller method from JavaScript using Ajax, and we can use action function from different places on Visualforce page. Action support. Invoke the controller method using Ajax when even occurs on page like on mouseover, onClick, etc. And we can use action support for particular single Aapex component. 28. How many ways can we call the Aapex class? 1. Visualforce page. 2. Web service. 3. Triggers. 4. Email services. 29. How to create a master details relationship between existing records. Directly we can't create master detail relationship between existing records. First we have to create lookup relationship and provide valid lookup fields, and it shouldn't null. 30. What is a permission set? Permission sets extend users' functional access without changing users' profile. X. A user has only read access through profile on custom object. Administrator want to give access edit and create operations to him without changing the profile. Administrator creates the permission set having edit and creates operation on custom object and assign to that user. 31. What is manual sharing? Manual sharing is to share a record to a particular user manually. Go to detail page of record and click on manual sharing button and assign that record to other user with read manual sharing button enables only when OWD is private to that object.